The cryptocurrency market, with its tantalizing promise of wealth and innovation, often resembles a high-stakes game, where fortunes can be made or lost in the blink of an eye. As I reflect on my own journey through this labyrinthine world, I am reminded of the lessons learned amidst the chaos, particularly the importance of discernment when it comes to deciding whether to hold or liquidate crypto assets. In the past year, the market has experienced a roller coaster of fluctuations. At the beginning of 2023, Bitcoin soared to unprecedented heights, crossing the $70,000 mark, fueled by institutional investments and a renewed interest in decentralized finance. The air was thick with optimism, and many believed that the days of easy gains were upon us once again. Yet, as we approached the middle of the year, the tides began to shift. Regulatory scrutiny intensified, with governments worldwide grappling with how to manage the burgeoning sector. The SEC's announcements regarding stricter regulations sent ripples of uncertainty through the market, causing prices to plummet. By the end of summer, Bitcoin had dropped to nearly 30,000, and the once bustling exchanges were now filled with anxious traders, their screens awash in red. During this tumultuous period, I found myself at a crossroads. I had invested a significant portion of my savings into various cryptocurrencies, lured by the stories of early adopters who had transformed their lives overnight. The thrill of watching my portfolio swell was intoxicating, yet the subsequent decline left me grappling with doubt. Should I hold on, hoping for a rebound, or should I cut my losses and liquidate my holdings? One of the critical considerations I had to confront was the emotional aspect of investing. The cryptocurrency market is notorious for its volatility, which can provoke a spectrum of emotions: greed, fear, excitement, and despair. I realized that my decisions were often clouded by these feelings. I had to ask myself whether I was making choices based on rational analysis, or whether I was simply reacting to the market's whims. The fear of missing out, or FOMO, had driven many to buy at the peak, and now the fear of loss gripped me tightly. As I delved deeper into the market dynamics, it became clear that understanding the broader economic landscape was essential. The macroeconomic factors, such as inflation rates, interest rates, and geopolitical tensions, played an undeniable role in shaping the cryptocurrency market. The Federal Reserve's tightening of monetary policy had a direct impact on liquidity, and with it, the appetite for riskier assets diminished. I learned that it was crucial to remain informed about these elements, as they could provide valuable context for market movements. Moreover, I began to recognize the importance of having a clear investment strategy. Many in the crypto space entered with a speculative mindset, chasing trends without a concrete plan. I realized that I needed to establish my own criteria for when to buy, hold, or sell. This involved setting specific price targets and timeframes, as well as understanding my risk tolerance. It was a sobering exercise, one that required me to confront my financial goals and the role that cryptocurrencies played in them. As I continued to analyze my situation, I also considered the technological underpinnings of the cryptocurrencies I held. The market was rife with projects that promised revolutionary advancements but delivered little more than hype. I made it a point to differentiate between those with solid fundamentals and those that were merely riding the wave of speculation. I began to examine the use cases, the teams behind the projects, and their long-term viability. This critical evaluation helped me separate my emotional attachment from the reality of the market. In September, as the market continued to show signs of instability, I decided to seek advice from trusted sources. I reached out to financial advisors and engaged with knowledgeable communities online. The discussions were enlightening, offering diverse perspectives on the state of the market and potential future trends. I learned about the importance of diversification, not only within the crypto space but across different asset classes. This approach could mitigate risk and provide a buffer against the extreme volatility that had become the norm. As I weighed my options, I also kept a close eye on the news. The announcement of new regulations was a double-edged sword. While it could stifle innovation in the short term, it could also lend legitimacy to the market in the long run. I pondered whether the market was simply undergoing a correction, a necessary phase in its maturation process, or if we were witnessing a fundamental shift in investor sentiment. In the end, the decision to liquidate or hold was not merely about numbers on a screen. It was about aligning my financial choices with my personal values and long-term objectives. I realized that the cryptocurrency market, while promising, was fraught with potential misguidance. I needed to navigate it with caution, ensuring that my actions were informed and deliberate, rather than impulsive and reactionary. As I prepared to make my decision, I reflected on the lessons learned through this tumultuous journey. The need for emotional discipline, the importance of a solid investment strategy, and the value of critical analysis were all vital components of my growth as an investor. Whether I chose to liquidate or hold, I knew that I had equipped myself with the knowledge and insight necessary to make a more informed decision. In the end, I chose to liquidate a portion of my holdings, a decision rooted in prudence rather than panic. I understood that the market would continue to ebb and flow, and while I would remain invested in the future of cryptocurrency, I would do so with a more balanced and informed approach. The experience reminded me that in the world of crypto, as in life, the path to success is often paved with lessons learned from misguidance and the courage to adapt to an ever-changing landscape.